Couple years ago, when I was watching far too much self-improvement content, I thought my goal was to become masculine and stoic, which I thought meant to stop showing emotions, to stop being so emotional. And then over the next couple years, I just realized my life became very flat. And it wasn't until this one moment last year when I realized my entire view of what it meant to be like masculine and stoic was wrong. And I learned how to actually start to feel my emotions without filtering them. And then friends started to ask me, and I started to hear on, coaching calls about how to feel emotions more, how to be more expressive. And I realized that I was not the only one struggling with this. And so in this video, I want to distill this process down to 5 steps for how to actually feel your emotions without filtering them. I was at a dinner last year with friends and getting roasted by my friend about how I'm so stoic and like so locked in and in my routine, and like I don't show emotions. I'm just like neutral all of the time. I remember that conversation because I just took it like I felt the desire to be defensive and no, actually this, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna accept this. But I walked away from that conversation thinking like, why does he have that impression of me? Like, why have I become so flat and like emotionless and like don't show any emotion? And when I started to look back at my journal entries from years ago, I started finding these notes on like, oh yeah, I want to become more masculine on camera and more stoic and stop showing emotion, to stop being so emotional. And I read that and I started to connect the dots of, I knew my body was more emotional than other guys at this point. I would cry more easily. I would get more frustrated. I would get more anxious than other people. But all of this time watching all of this self-improvement, red pill content, everyone talks about, you have to be a high value man and like masculine and stoic and be like, it's this, you get this, you know what I'm talking about. You get this image of like a rock who like is emotionless, neutral, who, anything can happen and they just don't show emotion. And you think that's like strong and masculine. And that's what I thought I needed to become. And so I started to suppress my emotions. When I started to feel like, tears coming up or frustration, I turned on like my brain as like no, I need to be stoic and not show this. And like I would start to bottle these things up and not allow them to be expressed. And then, little negative comments would frustrate me, and I'd be looping in things for like days after about something that someone said. And I started to realize that my emotions were actually controlling me. In my effort to suppress my emotions, to be more stoic, I was actually being controlled by my emotions. If you think of like a masculine, stoic father, like the image of like the dad that you want to become, do you think it's more masculine for him to suppress the frustration that he feels, the anger, the joy, the excitement, and then maybe in like 2 weeks it bottles up, and like, what I'm talking about, when that like frustration and anger just like overpowers you and it's been bottled up so much that you like snap, and then it just like releases in an uncontrollable way. Do you think that's masculine? Or do you think it's more masculine to be able to allow the anger to be expressed and moved through the body? Do you see the father that you want to become as like happy, joyous, playing with your kids, like laughing? Or do you see him as like neutral and expressionless, playing on the playground with his children? One of the biggest things that I've realized about masculine and energy, being stoic, over the last year is that you don't suppress emotions and feelings. Masculine man knows how to allow feelings and emotions to exist. And so it was this moment getting dinner with a friend where I had been mirrored everything that I didn't want to become. This like flat, neutral, expressionless guy who doesn't show or feel any emotion at all. And over the next couple weeks, this was last year, I was going through a big, transitional phase, learning to trust myself to guide me into doubling down on and believing in myself that I can coach other people and get into this business. And there was one moment journaling at a coffee shop. I actually just made a video about this. I'll link it below if you want to go deeper into this particular moment. But learning to reach the end of the intellectual realm of understanding my emotional past and my story, and actually allowing myself to feel the emotions, realizing that the next step in this is not in my brain, it's in my body. Allowing myself to cry, to feel frustration, to feel grief, to feel the shame, and not change it. And over the coming months and year, people started to ask me how I learned to feel my emotions, to be so expressive. They started to see my own, transformation over the last year. And I started to hear this multiple times in guys and in seeing it in clients that I coached about this, like being stoic and zen and just kind of flat and not being able to feel the excitement and energy and joyousness, but also not really feeling the like frustration and anger and depth of experience. And if you want a written version of this guide that goes in, more in depth, shoot me a DM on Instagram, emotions, and I'll send you the Notion doc that I created for this. But just know that this is going to take time. You're probably in your late 20s, early 30s. Like, how long have you been suppressing your emotions? It's probably been like decades. And so don't expect to do one meditation and then suddenly you can feel your emotions. Like, this is gonna take weeks for you to develop the awareness, to develop the relationship with your body, to start to feel the breadth of human experience. The first step in this is a little bit of a reframe, that your body is not broken, like you're not wrong in some way for not feeling your emotions. They exist in your body. Your human body has evolved for like millions of years. Like, you have the emotions and feelings inside of your body already. The problem is somewhere along your life, maybe your childhood, growing up, you probably learned, like your nervous system probably learned that it is not safe, it is not necessary, it is inefficient to allow myself to feel this way. And so you started to suppress those and want to control and not feel those things instead of allowing yourself to feel them. And so my point is, the emotions are already there. You just have to develop the awareness and relationship to what is happening down here. For years, for my entire life, I was living from here up, but there is so much more to life. And when you start to get into fear and the things that are holding you back, the things that I coach clients on, it is not up here. The problems are not up here, they are down here. So the first thing is, the emotions, the feelings, the sensations already exist. They are just really quiet whispers right now. And your nervous system, your brain has been overriding those. So the second part of this, the first action of this, is to start to build an awareness to your body. And I can't, most of the people watching this are not going to do this. And that is why they are going to continue to live their life feeling flat and emotionless and not be able to feel feelings. But this takes time. Don't expect an overnight success, overnight results, but over the next days and weeks, start to build an awareness to your body, the sensations in your body. If you do meditation, it's a great start. Build the awareness to when you breathe. What happens in your body? I was doing a meditation this morning before making this video, and I was like, there is almost an infinite amount of things that you can become aware of just by breathing. And this is the first step. This will get you, I will close the loop into emotions later, but this is the first step, because the sensations in your body already are occurring and your brain is not, it's overriding them. And so do a meditation and become aware of what happens when you breathe. Obviously, you can feel it in your stomach and your chest, like rising and falling. You can feel that. You can even feel it when you get so hyper specific on becoming aware of your body and not thinking, becoming aware of this physical sensations in your body. I can feel it in the back of my, the opposite side of my stomach. I can feel my breath in my back. like pushing up against the chair. So there's that. Then there's the chest rising and falling. I can feel my heartbeat speed up when I'm breathing in and slow down when I'm breathing out. There's a little bit of like an openness in my throat as I'm breathing in, and then like you can feel it in your nostrils. The amount of things that you can become aware of is crazy. And this is the piece of awareness that so many guys are missing, is the physical sensations of their body. As you're sitting here, feel your jaw, like right now, feel your jaw. Are you like clenching your jaw? Are your shoulders like tense? Drop your shoulders. And feel how that feels. Like, is your chest tight? Are your legs tight right now? Feel the actual bodily sensations inside of your body. And then move on to other parts of physical sensations, hot and cold. When you take a hot shower, when you take a shower tonight, whether it's hot or cold, doesn't matter. Feel the sensation of it being hot or it being cold. When you eat food, like become super aware of the taste and how you feel as you are eating it. This is the first step in this journey. And if you are still watching this video, I'm gonna be a little bit more vulnerable and reward you. Over the last year, I've gotten into sexual energy transmutation. I've read some books on like Taoist practices and like moving sexual energy throughout your body. And over the last maybe 2 years, I've been doing this practice that I learned from a book that I read. But I also like adapted it and turned it into my own practice and my own guide. I wrote this guide a couple months ago on transmuting sexual energy because I struggled with like semen retention and fapping too much. Looking back, this might have been one of the best ways to build the bodily awareness, the awareness of the physical sensations, because sexual energy is such a powerful thing. I've learned how to, as I'm, feeling sexual energy, to feel what it feels like, the warmth, the sensations, the tingling. And so anyway, if you want the guide that I wrote on this, I haven't released this to anyone, send me a DM, like, I don't know, fucking catapult. And I'll send you the link to the guide on this. But I say that because that actually might help you in building the physical awareness, the relationship to your body and the feelings, the sensations inside of you. Now let's move on. The third part of this is, where are you overriding subtle signals? So now you've started to build this awareness to your physical body sensations. Now it's like, where are the subtle signals? And where is your brain overriding? Building awareness to this. Where did you get like slightly annoyed this week? Where were you slightly interested in something? Where were you a little bit uncomfortable? Where were you felt a little bit of a curiosity or like a desire towards doing something? Just like the subtle, slight signals. Where did you feel that in the last week? And notice what happened in your brain. Where did you override it? What happened in the moment? Someone said something and then I felt like feeling a little bit annoyed, like a little bit like taken aback. I felt like a little bit of a tightness in my chest. And then my brain went into, but like defensive mode. And I was thinking about all of these things. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Where did you have like a subtle signal? And then where was your brain overriding it? Building some awareness to this, write some of these moments down as you go throughout your day. And then the next part of this, the fourth, is allowing your emotions to be felt. Taking these subtle signals and not overriding them, but doing the same thing with the body awareness that I just talked about. Bringing awareness to that moment of discomfort. What happened in your body? Where did you feel it? Where, like, was it a tightness? Was your jaw clenched? What happened? And not overriding it, not telling a story about it, not killing it, not suppressing it, but allowing it. Doing the same thing that you do when you meditate and you bring awareness to it and you just notice. Just sit there, separate yourself from your body, from the emotion, from the frustration, from the anger, from the like smile, and just notice what happened. Allow it. And what's so interesting is that research has been shown that a raw emotion only lasts for about 60 to 90 seconds. If you've ever cried and allowed it to happen, you'll notice that it it comes in these waves. Like you'll cry, it'll be like really strong, and then it'll stop, and you kind of like, you're just back to normal, and then maybe there's another wave. But notice, like, it doesn't last forever. These emotions don't last forever. And so all this time, for years, we've been trying to like suppress and feeling frustration and then stop it. If you just allowed it to happen, you would realize it comes and goes for like 90 seconds, and then you're just back to feeling normal again. But nobody has made it past like 4 seconds of feeling frustration or anger. They just jump into like, oh, this is what's wrong, and I need to, not show my emotion and bottle this up and like feel the tightness. And so try this. Next time you notice one of these subtle signals, I felt slightly annoyed, I felt slightly interested, slightly uncomfortable. Come back to that awareness, that hyper awareness that you're building, and just allow it to happen. And then the fifth and final part of this is start to expose yourself to more things that make you feel something. Listen to music that makes you feel joy and excitement and like energy. Listen to music that's like makes you feel sad and that's down. Watch a movie, something that you used to do or watch or listen to as a kid. Listen to a story, watch a video that makes you feel something, and then do what you've been doing, what I've been talking about here. Bring your awareness to your body of what is happening and just allow it to happen. Go to your room and watch like a sad movie or a sad video and feel the tightness, the soreness that comes up in your throat, and then don't change it. Don't swallow it because you've been swallowing it for 25 years. Allow it to happen. And if you start crying, that's okay. It's gonna last for 60 seconds. And if you do this practice, build the awareness to your body, the physical sensations inside of you, instead of trying to think your way through this, to suppress, to be stoic and masculine and not show my emotions. You might find you start to be more expressive. You start to walk around with like an energy to you. People start to come to you like a magnet to your energy. They're just pulled to you because they see you and they see the expressiveness that you have, and they want that. Probably unconsciously, but they won't say it out loud. They see someone who is fully embodied, someone who can feel everything. I'll be honest, like myself, misinterpreted being masculine, being stoic as to not show emotion, to not feel emotion. And so I want to suppress the emotion. But you can allow yourself to feel it and not lash out. But the way to do this is to come down to your body and build that awareness. And that is the process that will get you to start feeling your emotions, feeling the breadth of human experience without filtering them, without believing all of the thoughts that come up into your brain. And so if you want to go deeper with me and you want my support in doing this, this is what I help coach guys through, mostly the analytical types, analytical guys who live like up here. But usually what they think their problem is like time management, impulse control, scrolling, procrastination. But it takes about 30 minutes, 45 minutes into a conversation to realize that that is just the surface level, and usually it's escaping from feeling something. And so this is more of the core of what I do. If you want to learn more, just send me a message on Instagram, Signal, and we'll start a conversation there. This is all I have for you in this video. This is how I learned how to feel my emotions without filtering them. As the analytical thinker, the guy who lives from here up, it comes down to this sense, felt sense, physical sensations, the awareness that you have of your body. Because for the last 20 plus years, we've been suppressing them. And our brain has been overriding all of these signals, trying to think through, trying to get the strategy, trying to get the mindset, the reframe, the insight that we need, rather than listening to the millions of years of evolution that is already inside of us. That is where your answer is. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.